Alright, here we have our Auto306 controller. We're currently at atmosphere, also indicated here, 7.62. It's sealed. That's to indicate that the cryo-isolation valve is closed. And basically we're ready to go. So in order to run the process here, basically the controller is going to be used just primarily to cycle through the different stages of vacuum. So let's do that. We have various buttons here. We're going to hit the cycle button. That's going to start pumping down the chamber. What it does is it turns on the roughing pump and opens the roughing valve. When the pressure gets low enough, it will close the roughing valve, shut off the pump, and then open the cryo-isolation valve to start pumping into high vacuum. You will note on the video that the letters and numbers appear to be flashing because the capture rate of the video is such that it can see the multiplexing of the alphanumeric display. Okay, now as stated before, the cryo-isolation valve has opened and we're entering high vacuum. From here you can start your process at your desired pressure. The longer you wait, the cleaner it will be. I would suggest at least into the 6 range, well into the 6 range, but your process will dictate that as need be. Now we will go over the Infocon XT-M2 deposition monitor. This will be used to monitor our deposition rate and our deposition thickness while we are evaporating the materials. There are a few simple controls on here, but first, this is the home screen. In the upper left is displayed the deposition rate. The upper right is displayed the deposition thickness. The lower left is the current film, and the lower right is the time in the current step. To program this and get it ready for evaporation, we hit the program button, and we're in program mode. You can change any of these items here, but the most important 4 are the film, the density, which is the density of the material you're using, the Z ratio, which is the Z ratio of the material you're using, and the tooling factor. The tooling factor is a calculated value which you derive the thickness calculated versus actual, and you calculate the ratio of those 2 numbers and you input it in here. That lets you know what your deposition on your surface of your substrate is with relation to how the deposition monitor reacted. If we hit the program mode button again, we're back at the home screen. There's 2 additional buttons that we need to look at. First one is the 0. We press the 0, we clear the time, the thickness, and that gets us ready to put a new deposit down. Second one is the crystal button. It tells you the percent and the frequency of the crystal. The percent is how much used it is. The frequency is the current frequency. It should be close to 6 megahertz. Over time, when deposited upon, the percent used crystal will go up and the frequency will go down. Okay, we'll now demonstrate how to start a deposition. Once our Infocon XTM2 is set up, we have 3 controls we need to worry about. First is the breaker here, make sure it's pressed in. Second is the current selector, it's for low temp or high temp. Since we're dealing with aluminum today, we're going to go with low temp. We got a small boat, so it won't take too much current. And we're simply going to turn up the current, start heating up our material. Set it around 2 amps. Okay, notice we are depositing around 1 angstrom a second now, and our deposition thickness is currently at 117 and climbing. When you've reached your desired thickness, you simply turn the current down, switch off the power, and close your shutter. Notice your deposition rate is down to 0, and your rough final thickness is 125 angstroms.